Right, well, when we think of paper, we generally think of it as something to write on or maybe wrap items to ship somewhere.
But take a look at this. It's an art sculpture made of paper, one of many works created by Corrales Fine Arts paper sculptor Susanna Erling. She's joining us this morning along with oil painter Barbara Clark. Here's a little sneak peek. I'm so excited to get into the details, ladies, because your pieces are great. So let's first start with what you guys do. We first showed you the sculpture. So Susanna, that's your work, correct?
Yes, that's my work. And I start everything with newspaper. The body itself is built from crumpled paper, masking tape around, that's for the armature. Okay. And then I cover it with strips of newspaper with paste on both sides, and I squeeze the paper very tight to a wet noodle-like. And those are the little strips that go into the skirts, into the body. And some pieces I leave them with a glaze so the paper you can read the paper more, sort of. And others I just paint with bright colors and put glazes and seal. I seal it with urethane.
That is amazing. Robert, let's talk about some of your artwork here. I know we're seeing some of Susanna, your work right here. But let's take a look at the piece, Barbara, that you brought in and tell us about your process. Now, you're using a different medium to create your art.
Yes, I paint in oils, and I do two types of paintings. I do studio paintings, which is what I brought today. That's what you're looking at. And I do plein air paintings, and plein air simply means that you paint it outside on location. Often I'll paint a plein air painting, and they're usually small, and I bring that back into studio, and I use that to paint a larger studio painting.
Really?
And you have to, well, I have to paint small plein air paintings because you should get it done within an hour or so. After an hour, the sun has changed the shadows so much that everything's different. So you would have different shadows in one part of the painting than in the beginning of the painting, and it wouldn't read properly.
Does that, I imagine that's got to add a level of pressure that may not exist if you are in studio, maybe working with an inanimate model or even just an animated model, a human being. That's got to add a level of pressure that doesn't exist elsewhere.
It's interesting you said that, because it doesn't add pressure. You would think it would.
Yeah.
What it does is it puts you into a zone where you're so focused. What's the phrase you hear now? Mindfulness.
Okay.
Where people are practicing mindfulness, where they're so focused, they're not thinking about the groceries they have to buy or the mortgage payment. And that's what happens when you're plein air painting, is you just sort of go into a zone and paint.
I love it. And I mean, these works are beautiful. Both of you co-own an art gallery. Is that in Corrales then?
It is in Corrales.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
We painted together for going to events, the plein air events, and for 6 years. And then we came back to Corrales, and all of a sudden there was this little space in the Mercado de Maya, and we said, you know, how about if we open up a studio and gallery where we can work and exhibit? You know, previously I was mostly working at home and, you know, in the seclusion of my studio at home, but now, you know, I get to paint in front of people, and I get to share the experience with people. And a lot of people come and bring somebody else because of it. And same thing with Barbara, you know, has her easel there, and she paints there too.
Now, when you take, so as Barbara, as you were saying, you take the plein air piece and you come in and you create a larger, maybe expanded version. What is the process from maybe start to finish for each of your works? Susanna, we'll start with you, because I imagine that it takes a bit of time to create these sculptures. But let's talk about the process from once the inception of the piece comes to when you feel that it's quote unquote done. How long is that time?
It depends. You know, some pieces just flow, you know, right out, and whatever you're constructing, the engineering of it all, it works. And some other times you have to let some time pass by, live with it, and then you can come up with the final product. I wanted to go back to this mindfulness. The same thing for me, this little, you know, pieces of paper and laying them around, creating movement in the sculpture. It takes time, but it's also a zen kind of a thing.
And just very quickly, I know we're getting a wrap from our
Yes.
producer here, but Barbara, I want to finish. How long does it take you to create these pieces?
The plein air pieces I need to do within an hour, hour and a half, and they don't all turn out. You know, people think that after you get to a certain level, you
Right.
just paint and they all turn out. They don't all turn out. A studio piece, if it's a large piece, could take a couple weeks of going back and forth. I'm usually working on several pieces at one time. You let it rest, and you come back and look at it, and you either like it or you say, oh, no.
Yeah, right?
Well, we appreciate your time,
Yeah,
ladies.
thank
And
you,
of course,
ladies.
we will have links to the Corrales Fine Arts Gallery at boxofmexico.com a little bit later on. So if you want more information about it, you can head over there. Ladies, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.